You know you're stuck. You feel it every morning when you wake up, every night when you go to bed. You're not moving forward. You're not growing. You're not progressing. You're just existing, going through the motions, day after day, week after week, year after year. And you've tried everything. You've read the books, watched the videos, set the goals, made the plans. You've tried to change. You've tried to improve. You've tried to break free. But nothing works. You're still stuck. And deep down, you're starting to wonder if this is just how it's going to be. If you're destined to stay right where you are. If change is even possible for you anymore. Let me tell you something that's going to sting. But it's the truth you need to hear. The real reason you're stuck in life isn't bad luck. It's not your circumstances. It's not the economy, your job, your past, or your lack of opportunities. The real reason you're stuck is you. You are the obstacle. You are the bottleneck. You are the problem. And until you accept that, you'll never fix it. I know that's hard to hear, because it's easier to blame everything else. Your parents, your boss, the system, society. It's easier to be a victim than to be responsible. Because if it's someone else's fault, you don't have to do anything about it. But if it's your fault, if you're the reason you're stuck, that means you have to change. You have to take responsibility. You have to do something different. And that's terrifying. Because change is uncomfortable. Accountability is painful. And admitting you're the problem feels like failure. But here's what you're missing. If you're the problem, you're also the solution. If you're the reason you're stuck, you're also the key to getting unstuck. And that's actually good news. Because you can't control your circumstances. But you can control yourself. So let's talk about the real reasons you're stuck. Not the excuses. The truth. The first reason you're stuck is because you're comfortable. You hate where you are, but you're comfortable there. It's familiar. It's predictable. It's safe. You know what to expect. And even though it's not where you want to be, at least it's not worse. So you stay. You complain about it. You dream about leaving. But you stay. Because the unknown is scarier than the known. The risk of failure is more terrifying than the certainty of mediocrity. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. You can be comfortable or you can grow. But you can't do both. Growth requires discomfort. Change requires risk. Progress requires leaving what's familiar and stepping into what's uncertain. Proverbs 26 verse 14 says, "As a door turns on its hinges, so does a sluggard on his bed." Read that again. A door on hinges. It moves. But it goes nowhere. It swings back and forth, back and forth. Motion without progress. Activity without advancement. That's you. You're busy. You're moving. But you're not going anywhere. Because you keep swinging back to comfort. Back to what's easy. Back to what's safe. And as long as comfort is your priority, you'll stay exactly where you are. The second reason you're stuck is because you're waiting. Waiting for the right time. The right opportunity. The right circumstances. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel motivated. Waiting for someone to give you permission or a sign or a guarantee. But the right time never comes. The perfect opportunity never appears. You'll never feel completely ready. And nobody's coming to give you permission. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4 says, "He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap." If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never start. If you wait until everything's aligned, you'll wait forever. You're stuck because you're waiting instead of working, hoping instead of doing, planning instead of executing. And all that waiting is just fear dressed up as wisdom. The third reason you're stuck is because you're inconsistent. You start strong. You're motivated. You're committed. For about 3 days. Maybe a week if you're really determined. Then something happens. Life gets busy. You get tired. You have a bad day. And you quit. Then a month later, you start again. Same energy. Same commitment. Same 3-day streak before you quit again. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you don't do what you know. Consistently. Daily. Even when you don't feel like it. James 1 verse 8 describes this perfectly. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all he does. Unstable. That's the word. You're unstable. One day you're all in. The next day you're all out. One week you're disciplined. The next week you're undisciplined. And that instability keeps you stuck. Success isn't about massive action once in a while. It's about small action every single day. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. And you don't have it. The fourth reason you're stuck is because you're distracted. Your attention is scattered. Your focus is divided. Your mind is everywhere except where it needs to be. You're trying to do everything, so you're mastering nothing. You're interested in everything, so you're committed to nothing. Social media, entertainment, news, drama, other people's opinions, other people's problems, other people's lives. You're so busy consuming everyone else's content that you're not creating your own life. Proverbs 4 verse 25 says, "Let your eyes look directly forward, and your gaze be straight before you." Straight forward, not left, not right, not behind. Forward, focused, fixed on the target. But you can't do that. You're looking everywhere, comparing yourself to everyone, distracted by everything, and that lack of focus is keeping you stuck. The fifth reason you're stuck is because you're making excuses. You have a reason for everything. Why you can't start, why you can't succeed, why you can't change. And all those reasons sound valid. They sound reasonable. They sound like facts. But they're not facts. They're excuses. They're stories you tell yourself to justify staying stuck, to avoid taking responsibility, to protect yourself from the possibility of failure. I don't have time. Yes, you do. You just spend it on things that don't matter. I don't have money. People with less money than you have done more. I don't have support. Neither did anyone else who succeeded. I'm too old. Moses was 80. I'm too young. David was a teenager. Every excuse you make is a brick in the prison you're building for yourself. And as long as you keep making excuses, you'll stay locked inside. The sixth reason you're stuck is because you're afraid. Afraid of failure. Afraid of success. Afraid of judgment. Afraid of being exposed. Afraid of finding out you're not as capable as you thought. Afraid of discovering you're more capable than you believed. Fear is the real enemy. Not your circumstances. Not your past. Not your limitations. Fear. It disguises itself as logic, as caution, as wisdom, but it's just fear. And it's keeping you paralyzed. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control." Not of fear, but you're living in fear, making decisions from fear, building your life around fear. And fear always produces one result: stuck. The seventh reason you're stuck is because you don't believe you can change. Deep down, beneath all the goals and plans and declarations, you don't actually believe things can be different. You've tried before and failed. You've hoped before and been disappointed. You've started before and quit. And now you're convinced that change isn't possible for you. Other people can do it, but not you. Other people can break free, but not you. Other people can succeed, but not you. And that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you don't believe you can change, you won't do what's necessary to change. You'll sabotage yourself. You'll quit early. You'll prove yourself right. Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." What you believe about yourself determines what you become. And right now, you believe you're stuck. So you are. The eighth reason you're stuck is because you're isolated. You're trying to do this alone. You don't have anyone pushing you, challenging you, holding you accountable, calling out your excuses, refusing to let you quit. You're surrounded by people who are just as stuck as you are, who validate your excuses, who enable your mediocrity, who make you feel better about staying where you are. And that comfort is killing you. Proverbs 27 verse 17 says, "Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another." But you're not around anyone sharp. You're around dull people, comfortable people, stuck people. And you can't become sharp in a dull environment. The ninth reason you're stuck is because you don't have a compelling why. You have goals. You have desires. You have things you'd like to accomplish. But you don't have a why that's bigger than your excuses. A purpose that's stronger than your fear. A reason that's more powerful than your comfort. When your why is weak, your commitment is weak. When your purpose is unclear, your discipline is inconsistent. When your reason isn't compelling, you quit at the first sign of difficulty. Habakkuk 2 verse 2 says, "Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." Write it down. Make it clear. Make it so compelling that when you read it, you run toward it. Not walk. But you don't have that. You have vague wishes. General desires. Wouldn't it be nice dreams? And that's not enough to get you unstuck. The 10th reason you're stuck is because you're not willing to pay the price. You want the results, but you don't want the sacrifice. You want the destination, but you don't want the journey. You want the reward, but you don't want the work. You want to be in shape without training. You want to be wealthy without building. You want to be respected without earning it. You want to be free without fighting for it. But life doesn't work that way. Everything has a price. And the price of staying stuck is higher than the price of getting free. But you don't see that yet. You think staying stuck is the safe option, the comfortable option, the easy option. But it's not. Staying stuck costs you your potential, your purpose, your peace, your future. It costs you everything you could have been for the temporary comfort of avoiding what you should do. Luke 14 verse 28 says, "For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?" Count the cost. Not just of moving forward, but of staying stuck. So here's the question. What's it going to take for you to get unstuck? How much longer are you going to stay in this cycle? How many more years are you going to waste making the same excuses, having the same conversations, living the same life? Because here's the brutal truth. Nothing's going to change unless you change. Your circumstances aren't going to magically improve. Opportunities aren't going to fall from the sky. Someone isn't going to rescue you from yourself. You have to rescue you. You have to change you. You have to get yourself unstuck. And that starts with taking responsibility. Stop blaming. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop being inconsistent. Stop being distracted. Stop being comfortable. Stop being afraid. Start taking ownership. Start taking action. Start being consistent. Start being focused. Start being uncomfortable. Start being courageous. Do it today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Today. Right now. This moment. Make a decision. Take a step. Do something different. Because if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. If you think what you've always thought, you'll stay where you've always been. If you believe what you've always believed, you'll remain who you've always been. The real reason you're stuck is you. But the real solution is also you. You have more power than you realize. More potential than you've tapped into. More capability than you've demonstrated. You're not stuck because you can't change. You're stuck because you won't change. And there's a massive difference between can't and won't. Can't means it's impossible. Won't means it's uncomfortable. Can't means you're powerless. Won't means you're choosing comfort over growth. So stop saying you can't. Start admitting you won't. And then change that. Choose differently. Decide that today is the day you stop being the reason you're stuck and start being the reason you succeed. Get uncomfortable. Get consistent. Get focused. Get responsible. Get moving. Because you've been stuck long enough. It's time to get free.